Good evening. On the world news tonight, supplementary polls, INEC presents certificate of return to Fintiri. Tinubu asks police to probe all that transpired in Adamawa supplementary poll. Judgment voiding Ararume's removal as Nnpcl board chairman. Also, 3,298 inmates on death row in Nigeria. And on sports, Osimhen matches Obafemi Martins Champions League record. Now the news in detail. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is set to present certificate of return to winners in the supplementary elections held last Saturday. The Commission is to present the certificate of return to the Senators and House of Representatives, members-elect at the Commission's headquarters in Abuja today, which must have gone. Among those who received the certificate are Governor Aminu Tambuwa, who was elected the Senator to represent Sokoto South, and his predecessor, Aliyu Wamako, who was re-elected to represent Sokoto North. The certificate for the Adamawa State Governor, Ahmadu Fintiri, and Deputy Governor-elect will be presented later today, the Commission said in a statement. Their election was concluded and result announced by INEC on Tuesday. The Kebbi State Governor-elect, Nasiru Idris, and his deputy will also be presented with the certificate of return. For the State House of Assembly, member-elect certificates are to be presented at INEC offices, it stated. Following the conclusion of supplementary elections nationwide and the declaration of winners, the Commission will present certificate of return to the Adamawa State Governor and Deputy Governor-elect at 3 p.m. today. Part of the statement reads, which must have gone. Similarly, members of the National Assembly elect, senators, and House of Representatives will receive the certificate from 11 a.m. today. As stated, members of State House of Assembly elect should contact state offices for their certificates. Going on to the next story. Bola Tinubu, the president-elect, has called on the police to investigate what transpired during the Adamawa supplementary governorship election. On Tuesday, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, declared Ahmadu Fintiri as a winner of the election after collating the supplementary election result. The final results showed that Aisha Binani Dahiru, candidate of the All Progressive Congress APC, scored 39,788 votes, while Fintiri polled 430,861 votes. Before the announcement, however, controversy ensued after Udu Yunusa Ari, the resident electoral commissioner in the state, declared Binani the winner of the election. In a statement on Wednesday, Tinubu called for a thorough investigation of all that transpired in the election. The supplementary polls have now brought the 2023 elections to a final, fitting conclusion. I observed with satisfaction the largely peaceful atmosphere that pervaded the supplementary election on Saturday. It was a further testimony that our citizens have accepted democrats' norms and have unalloyed faith in the electoral process, the statement says. However, I note the matter of Adamawa's supplementary governorship election, and I urge police authorities to fully investigate all that transpired in the election given the attendant controversy. In every democratic contest, there has to be one winner. I call on those aggrieved to pursue legitimate means of addressing their grievances. Moving on to the next story. President Muhammadu Buhari says the court judgment which ordered the reinstatement of Ifeanyi Ararume as a non-executive chairman of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company (Nnpcl) Limited will be appealed. Buhari had appointed Ararume as board chairman of the corporation in September 2021, but he was later sacked and replaced with Margaret Chuba Okadibo in January in the following year. Ararume had sued the president, arguing that his sack was wrongful and amounted to disruption and interruption of the term of his office. In a judgment delivered on Tuesday in Nnpcl, the presiding judge ordered that the former senator be reinstated as a non-executive chairman of the Nnpcl with all rights and privileges due to him. Going on to the next story. No fewer than 3,298 inmates across the custodial centers in Nigeria are on death row, the Nigerian Correctional Service (NCOs) has revealed. Its public relations officer, Mr. Abubakar Umar, who disclosed this to Information at Hand on Wednesday in Abuja, however, said that the term condemned criminal had been abrogated with the emergence of the NCOs Act 2019, which made the prisons correctional centers. The term condemned criminal was abrogated as it is stigmatizing, he explained. He said the service preferred to use a more friendly term of inmate on death row, IDR. He said that the service preferred the name. He pointed out that the death sentences were not always carried out immediately they were imposed. There are often long periods of uncertainty for the convicted while their cases are being appealed at higher levels. Inmates awaiting execution live on what we call death row. Some offenders have been executed more than 15 years after their convictions. They were basically awaiting the hanged man nose in our custodial centers after being found guilty of capital offenses. We have quite a number of them, as today we have a total of 3,298 inmates on death row. They constitute about 4.5% of the total of number inmates in our various custodial centers nationwide, he disclosed. Umar said that some IDRs had been in custody for many years, adding that some had been there since they were arrested up to when they were tried and sentenced. According to him, many of them committed capital offenses like culpable homicide, armed robbery, terrorism, among others. Going on to the next story. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has received another batch of 107 Nigerians stranded in Tripoli, Libya. The agency said this in a statement on Wednesday in Lagos. NEMA said the returnees arrived at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport Cargo Wing, Ikeja, late Tuesday aboard Al Burak Air Boeing 737-800 with registration number 5ADMG. The returnees comprised 53 males and 52 females and 2 infants. Mr. Mustafa Ahmed, NEMA Director General, officially received the returnees on behalf of the federal government. Ahmed, the statement said, was represented by Mr. Aziz Afunku, Chief Relief and Rehabilitation Officer. Now reports that the International Organization for Migration, with the support of international partners, have been assisting stranded Nigerians in Libya to return home since 2017. Going on to Nasarawa State. Gunmen have kidnapped Daniel Ogoshi, the driver of the Nasarawa State Deputy Governor, Dr. Emmanuel Akabe. Information gathered that the driver was abducted from his residence at a friend around 9:30 p.m. at Ombi, 2 College of Agric, Kwandere Road, Lafia, on Tuesday. His phone and car was left behind. A family friend of the victim who confirmed the incident told correspondent that it was unfortunate, noting that he received a call around 9 p.m. that his brother had been taken away by kidnappers. The family friend immediately alerted the police and rushed to the scene, but unfortunately, the kidnappers had already fled with the victim. The media officer to the Deputy Governor, Chris Ehima, confirmed the incident, saying that he was informed about the situation, but did not have adequate information on what had happened. He expressed shock over the incident and assured that the state government would do everything possible to secure the release of the kidnapped driver. And to the foreign story. Nigerian students in war-torn Sudan have accused the Nigerian embassy in the country of neglecting them in times of war. Already, a report indicated that over 200 civilians were killed in the war that erupted in Khartoum between aggrieved parties in the country. Speaking in an interview with the Voice of America, Hausa service monitored by correspondent Umar Farouk, a Nigerian student trapped in Sudan, alleged that unlike their counterparts from the Niger Republic, Cameroon, and Kenya, who were regularly updated on the precarious situation on the war by their respective embassies in Sudan, there was nothing as such coming from the Nigerian embassy. He said even though there were rumors on the war, which had frightened parents and relations of the students in Nigeria, there were still peaceful places in Sudan, and Nigerian students in these places were very safe. Farouk, however, ruled the possibility of the over 2,000 Nigerian students leaving the country either through the airport or moving to the border with neighboring Egypt. He said doing so would be difficult because the airport is already closed for operation. And if we are to move to border with Egypt, how can such a large number of Nigerian students embark on such a long trip? He wondered. It was reported that gunshots were still heard in Khartoum, while movement was restricted, leaving people in the capital city with a little or no food and water. And the last story is coming from sports. Napoli striker Victor Osimhen has matched Obafemi Martins' record for the most goals scored by a Nigerian in the UEFA Champions League campaign. Osimhen reached the feat after his 9-minute equalizer in Napoli's 1-1 draw against AC Milan in the second leg of their UCL quarter-final clash on Tuesday. Obafemi Martins netted first time for another Italian side, Inter Milan, in the UEFA Champions League in the 2004-2005 campaign. Osimhen's impressive performances have been crucial for Napoli in their quest for European glory this season. Meanwhile, despite Osimhen's record equaling goal, his club were eliminated from the Champions League by their Italian rivals and 7 times winners AC Milan. Milan came into the game with a goal advantage from the fourth leg at the San Siro. Rossoneri doubled their advantage 43 minutes into the second half in Naples, thanks to Oliver Giroud, who missed a penalty. Napoli struggled against the disciplined Milan defense, with winger Kvaratskhelia also missing an important penalty in the second half. Osimhen's last-minute header was not enough to lead Napoli to victory. With Napoli out of the Champions League, Osimhen and the club will focus on the Italian Serie A, where they currently hold a 14-point advantage. With that sports story, we end the world news this hour from BGI TV Current. Before we go, some major headlines. Supplementary polls, INEC presents certificate of return to Finteri. Tinubu asks police to probe all that transpired in Adamawa governorship election. Judgment voiding Ararume's removal as Nnpcl board chairman. Also, we brought to you 3,298 inmates on death row in Nigeria. And on sport, Osimhen matches Obafemi Martins' Champions League record. For more updates on YouTube, our handle is BGI TV Current. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell, select option all to access our broadcast. On Facebook, Bagide Imo with Alawi Adibayo. Please like and follow the page. For advert placement of goods and services, coverage of events and functions, please dial the phone number streaming on your screen for advert placements only. Thank you for watching. I am Morire Rebila Lawal. Good evening.